Alright, so now we have 6 more APIs to implement on our backend side. The like or dislike video, subscribe or unsubscribe a user, implement suggested videos API, add and view comments, and add video to your user history. And lastly, the API to get all the video information. So now let's go ahead and implement the like or dislike video API. So I'm going to open the video controller.java file, and in here I'm going to make a post call with response status as OK, right? And I'm going to name this method as public video DTO like video, right? And the URL mapping for the post mapping annotation will be /id/video id/like, right? Inside for the like video method, this video ID will be a path variable. So I'm going to add the path variable annotation, string as video ID, and we are going to call the video service dot like video method, which still does not exist. And let's add a return statement already to specify that this particular call will return the video DTO object. And let's create the video let's create the like video method inside the video service. Let me close this project window so that we will have some room. So we have the like video method inside the video service, and in here what we have to do is we have to first retrieve the video, get video by ID. We can already do that by making use of the helper method here, get video by ID. So let me call this get video by ID method and pass in the video ID, and then we will receive the video back from the database. So now to this video, we have to add the like count. So we have to increase the like count, and also whenever the user has already liked the video, we have to decrease the like count, right? Generally on YouTube, when you click on a like button, the video will be liked, and if you click on that again, then the like will be removed, right? So we have to implement the same functionality here. To store the likes, we are using the variable called as likes field, which is an integer, and also to store the dislikes, we are using the field dislikes. To add to likes and dislikes, I'm going to create a new method here inside the video class called as public void increment likes, right? So increment the likes field here. So the disadvantage of incrementing the integer like this way is whenever we want to make sure that our logic also works in the multi-threaded environment, right? So usually whenever we upload a video, it's not like the likes will happen synchronously, right? Like the request can come in all at once, and we have to handle those requests concurrently. And our also data structure, which we are using to handle the like count, should also be able to synchronize and work correctly in a multi-threaded environment also. So for that, instead of using integer, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use an atomic integer. So if I go to atomic integer, you can see that in the documentation, and an atomic integer is used in applications such as atomically incremented counters and cannot be used as replacement for an integer, right? So as we are using like a like counter, and also we'll be using also the same for the view counter, we can use an atomic integer in the place of integer. So I'm just going to rename this to atomic integer. Also for the dislikes, I'm going to change it to atomic integer. And to increment an atomic integer, it's very easy. So I'm just going to replace this with likes.increment and get, right? So this will increment the likes integer automatically. Similarly, I'm also going to add a method for decrement likes. We want to decrease the like count. For the decrease in like count, it's called as decrement and get. Similarly, we can do this also for the dislikes field. So I'm just going to copy the whole thing, paste it again. So increment dislikes and decrement dislikes. So here inside the increment dislikes method, instead of likes, I'm just going to increment and get the dislikes, and also decrement and get the dislikes. So now we have the logic inside our video class. So it's now just a matter of calling them from the video service, right? So now we have the video. If it is a like, if the user is liking, then we have to increment the like count. So increment like count. Also, if user already liked the video, then decrement like count, right? Also, if user already disliked the video, then increment like count and decrement dislike count. So let me explain this with an example, right? So imagine the like count is something like 0, dislike 0. This is by default, right? And the user comes in and likes the video. So then the like count will be like 1, dislike 0. The same user will change their mind, and now then I will click on the like button again. So in this case, it should be like 0 and dislike 0. And in other case, if the user has already disliked the video and if the user likes the video, what we have to do is we have to decrease the dislike count and increase the like count. So from this, we have to put the dislike count to 0 and like count to 1. So we have to handle both these cases whenever the user is liking the video, right? So now let's go ahead and implement this functionality. First, I'm going to create a new class called as user service inside the service package and add the service annotation on top of the class and required args constructor. And inside this class, I'm just going to first auto-wire the user repository. And in here, I'm going to first create a method called as public user get current user, right? So we have to retrieve the user which is currently logged in into our system. That means who has the active JWT session. So for that, I'm going to use the security, I'm going to call security context holder from security core context package. And I'm going to call get context and get authentication dot get principal. Inside the user controller, we already got the principal directly when Spring has injected the authentication class into our as an authentication object into our method. But here we have to retrieve the principal authentication object manually. So for that, I'm going to query the security context, right? So after getting the principal, we have to first cast this principal into a JWT, Spring Security OAuth 2 JWT. And now I'm going to add one more braces here, set of braces here. And I'm going to call get claim, right? So our JWT contains a different set of claims, and in that one of the claim is the sub field. So this sub field contains the ID of the particular user. We are also storing this sub field inside the user info DTO, if you remember. So it's called as sub. And we have also stored this sub information inside the repository also, like inside the database, right? So all we have to do is we have to retrieve the user based on this sub field. So for that, I'm going to go back to the user service class, store this particular return value to a local variable. So this is going to be a string called as sub. So I'm going to use this sub variable and call the user repository dot find by. We don't have the method find by sub, so I'm just going to type in find by sub and pass in the sub value. And now let's create this method inside the user repository find by sub, and this should return an optional of user, right? So let's also import this class. When we don't have any user with the sub, we have to throw an exception. So for that, I'm just going to add in the or else throw method call, so that it will throw a new illegal argument exception, right? With a message cannot find user with sub, and let's pass in the sub value here. So now let's store this in a new variable called as user, and let me add this into a new line. Then just directly return this from our method as this method is retrieving the current user. So I'm just going to use this current user method whenever we want to get the user information, right? So I'm going back to the video service, and in here I'm going to first handle the normal case like video by ID. So whenever the user likes the video, I'm just going to increment likes, right? So this is going to be a normal way where we can handle the likes. After we have incremented the likes, we also have to add this video to the like history of the user, right? So if you go to the user class, we have a liked videos and a dislikes videos field, right? So we have to, whenever whenever the user liked the video, you have to add it to the liked videos field. So let's do that. I'm going to open video service, and I'm going to here call user service dot add to liked videos, right? So the user service is not yet present inside the video service. So for that, I'm going to go scroll up and type in private final user service. All right, so just scroll down, and we have to create the method add to liked videos. So for that, I'm just going to pass in the video ID. So that just to maintain the history, I'm just going to pass in the video ID, and I'm going to create a new method called add to liked videos, right? So now we can get the current user, and for the current user, I'm just going to, we don't have yet the method to add to liked videos. So I'm just going to create add to liked videos, video ID, and I'm going to create this method again inside the user class. So here I'm just going to add this particular video ID to the liked videos set, right? So I'm just going to add liked videos dot add video ID. So before doing that, we have to first instantiate this particular string, or else we'll get a null pointer exception. So here also we cannot use a new hash set because we have to make sure that this collection is thread safe, right? So I'm just going to make use of new concurrent hash map dot new key set. So in this way we will get a set which is thread safe. So I'm just going to make use of this also for the disliked videos, right? So now we can be sure that we don't get any null pointer exception whenever we add to liked videos, and also whatever set we have initialized is thread safe, right? I'm going to go back to the user service, save this information to the user repository, right? So user repository dot save current user, and I'm going to go back to the video service now. So now let me create two methods inside user service called as public boolean if liked video ID. So here we will make sure that if a video is already liked by the user, then we have to decrement the like count, right, as we saw before. So for that, I'm just going to call get current user dot get liked videos, and in here we have to find whether this liked videos set contains this video ID or not. So for that, I'm going to type in stream from Java 8 and any match, right? So this will make sure that inside the stream of elements, if any of the element matches the given element, that is video ID, then it will return variable true. Then it will return either true or false, right? So for that, I'm just going to type in liked video dot equals video ID. So whenever there is a match, then we will just return this particular boolean value back to the video service. We can use the if liked video inside the video service. Let's also create a method called as if disliked video, right? So here, instead of get liked videos, we'll call get disliked videos, and we'll check whether this video is part of the disliked history or not, right? So I'm going to go back to video service, and I'm going to add a particular condition called as if user service dot if liked video of video ID. Then I'm going to say video by ID dot decrease likes, and I'm going to say user service. Now I have to remove from the liked videos. So I'm just going to type in remove from liked videos. So now we have to remove the video ID from the user's like history, right? So I'm just going to create a new method called as remove from liked videos, and this should take the video ID as the input argument. So let's quickly add this also inside the video service. Okay, now I'm going to the remove from liked videos, and similarly I'm going to copy the same code here inside the add to liked videos and paste it here. And instead of adding to the liked videos, I'm just going to do remove from liked videos. Of course, this method still does not exist inside the user class. I'm just going to create this particular class, and I'm going to say remove liked videos dot remove video ID, right? So I'm going to go back to the user service, and now we are removing the video from the user like history. Go back to the video service. So now we are going to implement the case where the user already disliked the video and changed the mind and liked the video again, right? So in this case, I'm going to type in else if user service dot if disliked video. Now what we have to do, we have to decrement the dislike count and increment the like count, right? So video by ID dot decrement dislikes and user service dot remove from disliked videos, right? We have to remove it from the disliked videos history list. So I'm going to create this method again inside the user service, and this is going to be the same as the removed from liked videos method. I'm going to change this as remove from disliked videos. Again, create this method inside the user class, and this is going to be disliked videos dot remove video ID. So now go back to the video service. So if the user likes the video, then if the user already liked the video, then we are going to decrement the like and remove it from the liked videos list of user. Or else if the user already disliked the video and if the user wants to like the video again, then we'll first decrement the dislike and then increment the like count. We have to add this to this list here. And also, if none of this is true, then we will just increment the video and we will just increment the like count and add it to the liked videos of the user. And after that, we are just going to return the video DTO back to the controller. So I'm just going to have to create the video DTO from the video object. For that, I can just make use of this particular code which is already existing in the get video details method. Paste this here, and we don't have access to the like count and the dislike count, right? So I'm just going to add private integer like count and private integer dislike count. And you may be wondering why we are using integer here instead of atomic integer, as we are using this particular class as just a data transfer object. We are not making any kind of calculations on top of this like count and dislike count. So it's fine to use integer here instead of atomic integer, right? So I'm just going to go back to the video service, and instead of saved video, it should be video by ID. I'm just going to replace this reference variable with video by ID. And after that, I'm just going to type in video DTO dot set like count as video by ID dot get likes dot get, and video DTO dot set dislike count as video by ID dot get dislikes dot, and finally I'm just going to return the video DTO from our method. So this looks fine for me. I'm just going to start our YouTube clone application and test whether this is working fine or not. And let's also make sure that you started the front-end application so that we can get the token out from the front end, and then we can use this token to make a request to this like endpoint. So open the front-end application and just try to log in so that you will get the latest token inside the session storage. So I'm just going to drag this dev tools here, and under the application tab, just go to session storage and select localhost 4200. And here in the authentication results, you can copy this access token completely as we did before, and open Postman and replace this token, and make sure you make a call to the like endpoint by providing the video ID and by providing the bearer token in the authorization header, and just click on send. We are getting an error. We are getting the error cannot find user with sub, because apparently when we made the call to register the user in our database, we did not add the sub information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a call again. So I'm going to create a new tab and type in http localhost 8080 API users register, and I'm going to add the bearer token, and I'm just going to make use of the same bearer token as we did for the like endpoint call, right? So I'm just going to click on send, and now you can see that the user registration is successful. And now if I open the database, you can see that we have the sub information, one more database entry with sub enabled. So I'm just going to do what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the previous entry, right? So at the end we have to have only one user inside our user collection, because we cannot have multiple users with the same first name and the same email address. So now let's try again. Go back to Postman and try to call this like endpoint. So I'm just going to make a call again. Okay, so we are receiving still another error because the atomic integer is null, because we did not initialize the likes and dislikes atomic integer field. So what I'm going to do is, by default, this is going to be a new atomic integer of 0, initial value as 0. And similarly, I'm also going to do this for dislikes. So now I'm going to restart the application, go back to Postman again and make a call one more time. And now you can see that the like count is 1 and the dislike count is 0. Now if I try to make one more call to the like endpoint, let's see what happens. And you can see that the like count is -1. That's wrong. It should be 0. So let's see what is happening. I'm going to open IntelliJ and go to video service. And you know what? This is the problem is, after we decremented the likes, we are not saving this to the database, right? That is the problem. If you don't save it to the database, when we are making another call and when Spring is retrieving this video object again, this is going to be initialized to 0, because we have initialized the likes and dislikes to 0. And if we incremented this likes, we have to save it to the database, or else it's going to be 0 anytime. So I'm going to just type in video repository.save video by ID. Now the like count should be persisted into the database, and hopefully also the user like history is also persisted. Yeah, right. So once we add the video to the like history and also removed it from the like history, we are saving the user, but we didn't save the video. I'm just going to show you a trick. Instead of restarting the video and restarting the server, what you can do is IntelliJ, and just going to right click and select compile and reload file, right? So what this will do is it will do a hot swap of this class the runtime, and you don't need to restart the debugging session, right? I'm just going to add the breakpoint on line number 103, or like whichever line you have this video repository.save statement. And I'm going to open Postman again. I'm going to first make a call to the like endpoint. So it's being triggered, the breakpoint is being triggered. I'm just going to resume the program execution. You can see that the like count is 1 now. If I make a call again, it's again stopping at the breakpoint. I'm just now going to remove this breakpoint and let the program execution run. And now you can see that the like count is 0 and the dislike count is 0. This looks good, right? Now let's go ahead and implement the dislike functionality. Right, so now implementing the dislike endpoint is not so complex. So I'm just going to go to video controller, copy the existing like endpoint, and just paste it down here and rename this like to dislike, right? And change this like video to dislike video, and also rename this like video inside the video service as dislike video, and make sure you create a new method called dislike video. And we are going to make use of the same code here, right? Almost all the code will be the same, but we just have to invert the like and dislike variants, right? This is going to be, first we are going to again retrieve the video, and if the user is already disliked the video, so it should be if dislike video, then we have to decrement the dislikes, decrement dislikes, and remove from disliked videos, right? And if the user liked the video, then we have to decrement the like count and remove it from the liked videos of the user history, increase the increment the dislike count and add to the disliked videos. So this is not yet present in the user service, so just disliked video method. So I have to add it to the disliked videos, right? So I'm just going to make use of the same code which I've already written in the add to liked videos, and this is going to be add to dislike videos. Also, this is not existing inside the user class, so let me add this to disliked videos dot add video ID, right? So we have the add to like videos and add to dislike videos, remove from liked videos and remove from disliked videos. And if we go to the video page, we have increment likes, decrement likes, increment dislikes, and decrement dislikes. So we have all the possible permutation and combinations, and I'm going to copy the same configuration to a new tab called as like. I'm going to select the call as a post call, and I'm also going to copy the bearer token. So add bearer token and paste it. Okay, so first time what I'm going to do is I'm first liking the video. So you can see that we got the like count as 1, and I'm now going to dislike the video, right? It says the 404 error. I think I got the request mapping wrong, so I'm just going to open the video controller, and this is going to be dislike with a capital L, right? So let's go back to Postman and replace the dislike with a capital L, and now you can see that the like count is 0 and the dislike count is 1. Now let's try to like this again, right? So I'm going to like this again. Now you can see the like count is 1 and the dislike count is 0. So if I try to like this again, the like count will be reset to 0, and let's dislike this again, and the dislike count is 1. So if I try to dislike one more time, this is going to be dislike count as 0, right? All right, so now let's go ahead and implement the API to add video to the user history and also to increase the view count of the video whenever the user gets the metadata of the video, right? So I'm just going to open IntelliJ, and in here I'm going to choose the get video details API, and in here whenever we get the video details, that means the user is viewing the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the video count. First I'm going to create a method called as increase video count and pass in the saved video, and in here I'm going to call saved video dot increment view count. So I'm going to create this increment view count method inside the video class, and this is going to be the view count, which is integer. So this is going to be an atomic integer. Again, similarly, I'm going to initialize it as atomic integer of 0. So view count dot increment and get. So this is going to be view count dot increment dot get, and let's go back to the video service. And now I'm going to save this video repository. saved video. Now we will track also the video count, and after that we also have to add this video history of the user. So I'm going to create another method, user service dot add video to history, and pass in the saved video. And I'm going to create the new method add video history, and in here again I'm going to call get current user. It's going to be user current user, and this is going to be current user dot add to video history, and I'm going to pass in the saved video dot get ID into the add to video history method. So I'm just going to create this add to video history method inside the user class, and similarly this is going to be a list of video entry. So let's make it a set instead of a list, because we don't want to show duplicates, right? So I'm going to create again a concurrent hashmap dot new key set. So this is going to be video history dot add ID. So let's rename this as video ID instead of ID, right? And I'm going to open user service one more time, and then type in user repository dot save current user. You know what, we are actually passing the saved video complete video object instead of the video ID, and inside this method all we need is a video ID, right? So I'm just going to change this input parameter to a video ID, replace this with video ID, and go back to add to video history, and instead of saved video it's going to be just video ID. So whenever we get the video details, we are increasing the video count and also adding the video to the video history. So let's go ahead. So let's restart our server one more time and test whether this is working correctly or not. So now I'm going to open Postman, and I'm going to just remove the dislike part here. Just let's confirm whether the request mapping is correct or not. I'm going to open video controller. So it's just /video ID, right? And the root path. So it's going to be video ID, and this is going to be get. So let's do a get. Okay, so we are not getting the like count and also the dislike count and also the video count in as part of the video DTO response. So we have to do one more thing. Go to video service, and inside the get video details you have to add video DTO set like count as saved video dot get likes dot get, video DTO dot set dislike count saved video dot get dislikes dot get, and lastly we also need the field set view count. I think this is still not yet existing in the video DTO object. So you can see that we are not maintaining this field. So I'm just going to duplicate this line and call it as view count, right? I'm going to open again the video service and call video DTO dot set view count as saved video dot get view count, and this is going to be dot get, right? And now you can see that IntelliJ is complaining that there is a possibility of a duplicated code, because let me copy this again. We are using the same video details, we are using the same mapping to the video DTO also inside the like video and the dislike video methods, right? So I'm just going to replace this with this newly added information. So this is a duplicated line of code. What we can do is I can extract it to a separate method. So I'm just going to type in Control Alt M, and this is going to be map to video DTO method. And I'm going to also replace this across all the classes, right? So I'm just going to replace all the occurrences. So now you can see that we have the map to video method, which will take care of mapping the video to video DTO. So I can just make a small enhancement. Instead of storing it to a separate variable, I can just return it right away. Alright, so now let's restart and open Postman and just get again. So you can see that the like count is 0, the dislike count is 0, and the view count is 2 because we have already increased the view count before. So if I go to send, you can see that the view count is 3. Alright, so now let's go ahead and check whether the user history is also implemented correctly or not. So I'm going to open the database and I'm going to open the user collection and click on run. And you can see that the video history, the video ID is added. No matter how many times we view the video, it's only added once.